What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe. No Days Off DFS here to bring that NBA slate breakdown for the 10-game NBA slate. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content your boy drops over here on the channel. And drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. Speaking of win some money, your boy woke up yesterday and said, "Hey, I have not taken down the $27 single entry contest in the NBA in like 2.5, 3 weeks. I gotta take that down." Sure enough, I took it down yesterday, which is it's amazing. It's awesome. This is what I say about playing single entry stuff. That's why I harp on it. That's why I say it. Yes, it's cool to play that $18, $11, $10, whatever they want to give it for the 100K at first, but you're doing yourself a disservice by playing in that right there, because you have to take some swings in that in order to actually take that down, or just get everything legitimately right. You could take safe plays over here in single entry contest stuff, and by single entry myself, I have had the best success playing 500 and less people entries into stuff. And by that I mean like legit the field size of how many people are in the contest, 500 people and less. Now granted, yes, I could play the $333, I could play the $500. If they actually had a single entry 888, I would play that and something like that, but single entry is the key for it. I've had better success playing the single entry stuff, and honestly seen a huge return in regards to my investment and everything, and it's paying dividends. You guys have continuously seen it over here, and hopefully the information stuff that I'm putting out is helping you guys make a difference as well, because I talk about it. Playing the chalk, finding a spot to get a little different from everybody else, and honestly Bane was enough to be a little different right here. I could have played chalk at point guard, and I just played someone else to say to Jalen Duren, who's down here at the bottom that you can't see, and probably still would have been able to cash. Might not taking down first, because having a 6.25% Anthony Simons and a 4.69% Jalen Duren definitely is what tipped the cake right there for me to be able to take it down. But if you guys are looking for all that right there, and I mean all my stuff, you go over here, like I said, on the YouTube membership tab right there next to the subscription button. I give out my player pool, I give out my core, I give out my FanDuel parlay, which is my builders, I give out my prize pick parlay, my builders, my NBA core, like I said, my NBA slate breakdown with all the injury news and everything. So if you don't have time to sit here and watch the video, you want to be able to just read, go through this, be able to make your lines, because at the end, down here at the bottom, I give you the key DFS plays, the chalk plays, the leverage plays, the value plays, the GPP plays that you can look to if you are a GPP player, and then just my final complete thought on this, on how I think you should kind of build and whatnot. And granted, you can make a core from just all this right here. All that is right there for you guys. It's a lot of stuff that I give out over here. My prop list, my alt line prop list, any lottos that I play, which is lottos for a reason, but also the builders, all that stuff. I give that out over here underneath the YouTube membership tab button. I had to put it underneath membership because I put all that stuff up over here on the Patreon. Kind of messed up if I'm giving it out for free continuously on YouTube. So yes, I'm sorry, it is behind a paywall. But if you want to support your boy, especially when I sit here and I'm typing out this whole long thing right here for y'all, means a lot. Thank you guys. You can just watch the video. That's more than enough for me. Thumbs up. It helps out. Thank you. But we're going to get into it, because like I said, it's a 10-game slate. It's a lot of injury news. And to be very honest, I'm not going to sit here and read through all this today. I feel like this takes up the biggest chunk whenever it comes down to me doing the breakdown for the video. So I'm just going to scroll through it very slowly and just pretty much kind of give you some elevator background music if you are sitting here watching it and reading it and whatnot. So way you guys can just get an idea of what we're going to be looking at as we go through. Now, some more injury news has broken as I've sat here and started to get ready to go over the slate. So I will be able to cover all that as I go on over to DraftKings. If you guys don't have an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King, and we can go ahead and break this bad boy down. Now, one of the big reasons why I am doing this is because I have noticed that a huge chunk gets skipped because people skip out a lot of that stuff in the beginning. So I'm giving you guys what you want. So going over it, starting out over here on the Philly side, Philly on the back end of a back-to-back. And if you guys don't know, over there for Philly has come out and said that they're going to be limiting the minutes on their main guys, Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Yabusele. Nick Nurse came out and said that yesterday. So that was one of the big reasons why I ended up on Justin Edwards and Lonnie Walker, and that's why I will be on them again here today. Tyrese Maxey, for whatever reason, is a game time decision, possible for him to play. Possible for him to play here, which I don't understand why, but I couldn't imagine that Tyrese Maxey is going to come in and play a ton of minutes. 9K price tag, I would avoid that. I really don't even want anything over here from Philly. I understand it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta. They play fast. They can also be weak on defense and stuff like that. So there's definitely some upside to trying to get some plays. But I don't want any of the main guys. I understand that Quentin Grimes still in his limited minutes. He want to say he played 27 minutes yesterday. Still dropped 41.75 fantasy points. He would be the only one that I would consider as like, maybe I could try to get up there and play that. But Kelly Oubre Jr., I'm not playing that right there. You're going to play less than 25 minutes. I'm not going to go there. Andre Drummond himself, him too. He also was quote unquote limited yesterday. He only played 10 minutes. Didn't get in foul trouble or anything. They just sat him. But I'm not going to focus on Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Drummond, Yabusele. Instead, it's going to continuously be these young guys down here. The Justin Edwards, 4,200, played 29 minutes yesterday. If he's starting, that'll be even great. If he's not starting, then yeah, I'm still going to look at him. I'm going to consider it just because we are going to focus on the young guys. Jared Butler, who went out there in 29 minutes, had 9 assists, 15 points, 32.5 fantasy points, a great fantasy point per minute producer. And I told you guys countless times before, when he was over there for Washington, loved going ahead and playing him if we were able to snipe him. That would be another one I would go to. Lonnie Walker, going to go right back to him. 3,600, only 200 price increase, 34 minutes yesterday. And the minutes have been there over the last several games. So even if Tyrese Maxey is back, I don't imagine that they're going to play him too many minutes. So it's really going to be the bench guys that we're going to focus on and that we're going to want to pay attention to over here. Edwards, Butler, Lonnie Walker. Maybe you could look towards Downing, but I will say Bona. I'm not too sure if Bona's going to be able to go out here and do what he did yesterday. Granted, that was the Utah Jazz. This is Atlanta. Maybe he might be able to do it. If we were to get word that Bona was going to start, I definitely would like that and would have a lot of interest in it. But just tread with caution right there. They really don't have too much as far as like backup bigs anyway, considering that you don't have Embiid. You're not going to really play Yabusele too many minutes and things like that. So yeah, I guess we possibly can consider it because you only got Ricky Council as the only other backup true big, and if you try to go small you can, but definitely just pay attention to Bona as well at 3,400. That would be like a very cheap center play that you could possibly get to. Now on the flip side of things over here for Atlanta, Trae Young, he's been dealing with an injury tag for quite some time over his last couple of games, but he has played through it. The only other thing that was added to the injury report later on, which was Karis LeVert, he just popped up on the injury report. He is now listed as questionable. Typically for me, when a player gets listed on the injury report late in the day, that means they're not going to play. So I imagine that Karis LeVert might be out. Whether or not if LeVert is in, I do still have some interest in a couple of pieces over here from the Atlanta side, just because even though it's a 10-point spread, the total is still 237, which is a high total. Either way, somebody's going to have to play. And if the game's going to possibly be a blowout, somebody has to do it. Trae Young at 9,700, I will admit that is a bit up there in regards to price. Really not too keen on him as one of my like pay up studs that I want to get to, but he has been coming back on as of late. 28, 22, 36 points, and the assists have been there, kind of looking like how we were looking at Tyrese Halliburton. I could see him as a pivot from like the SGA, the Josh Giddey, Tyler Hero type thing, Luka Doncic. If you want to get there, 9,700, that's doable. You can mess with that, but I will continue to say it. I would much rather just go ahead and come down to Dyson Daniels, who's at 7K, who stuffs the stat sheet and also gives it to us on the defensive side of the ball as well. The upside is there for him, and I don't mind that for him, because if the game was to get blown out or something like that, Trae Young's going to be one of the first ones to be sat. Dyson Daniels can still go out there and also facilitate the offense and do a little bit something out there for us. Now, yesterday, Bryce Sensabaugh, he went out there and he dropped 31.25 fantasy points in 31 minutes at the 2 position, which is what Dyson Daniels plays. If his shot is actually falling, as we can see, it hasn't been too great over his last couple of games. But if his shot is actually falling and he's giving us those defensive stats and stuff in the stat sheet, that 7K price tag, that's going to be way too easy for him to be able to pay that off. Outside of Dyson Daniels, of course, we can always look towards the Onyeka Okongwu. You're not going to be really dealing with Drummond out there. You're not going to really be dealing with Yabusele, and then Bona. I'm not too worried about that defense right there. He stuffs the sachet. He finds ways to be very productive and gives us the upside. At 6,800, I do like his price tag. I do like the spot for him. Shoot, we just saw Filipowski go out here versus Philly yesterday. Filipowski went out there and he dropped 45.75 fantasy points versus them. Onyeka Okongwu is arguably better than Filipowski. I could definitely see a big game for him as well out here. 6,800, I like that as a mid-tier option, especially we got the Joker on the slate and a back-to-back where he banged his elbow. Possibly not going to be a really good Joker game today. I could see myself coming and paying down at the center spot, and I don't mind doing that at all. Outside of that, if we think it's going to be a blowout, maybe we take a swing with Rushashay, especially if Karis LeVert is doubtful and probably not going to play. And then Georges Niang, he would get a boost if LeVert was going to be out, and Terrence Mann would get a boost because they're going to have to soak up those minutes that LeVert would actually get right there. Outside of that, not really going to focus on too much over there for Atlanta. Instead, we're going to go on to Utah, who's on their back end of a back-to-back, and also have just dropped a couple of their players in regards to who's going to be in and out. Colin Sexton, he is not going to be on the injury report. Keontae George has been ruled out. Jordan Clarkson is out. John Collins is questionable. Lauri Markkanen is questionable as well. Now, the Jazz, they are tanking without tanking. We already know that. Really, the players that we're continuously seeing them put onto the injury report, taking off the injury report, things like that, they're arresting them for different ailments and stuff, just to give them some time to possibly side note, you ever be home by yourself and you be hearing a weird noise, like, yo, what the fuck was that? But getting back to it, Utah Jazz on their side over here, like I said, their players, we're going to want to pay attention to see who's going to actually be in or out. Lauri Markkanen, Collins, and those guys, they've been missing the last couple of games, different ailments, but just to be rested. I definitely would pay attention with Keontae George being out, but Colin Sexton being back. Sexton is still technically limited in regards to his minutes because he's been back these last couple of games, but he's not playing high minutes. So yes, he's a good fantasy point per minute producer. If he was to actually go out here and play 30 to 35 minutes, I would have a lot of interest in Colin Sexton. I don't, just because he's not playing the minutes. Unfortunately, we still have to look towards Isaiah Collier at 6,300, who somewhat has a double-double upside still with his assists, playmaking, and his scoring. Just a matter of if he's actually going to go out there and score for us. That's a big thing that we have to get from him. But if these other guys are going to be back, kind of thing is going to be down for him. Going up against Boston, really not too interested in trying to get too much over here from Utah anyway. I would say that they would make for interesting GPP options with Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, if they were actually to be in. That's the big thing that we need over there. You could probably take a stab at Colin Sexton just in the event that he decides to go out here and repeat you know, the good spot that technically two guards do have going up against Boston, because that's typically where we attack them at, is with opposing guards, but not something that I'm running and trying to get to. Definitely just focus on the young guys if you do, or just cross out the Utah Jazz altogether would be my opinion. Over here on the Boston Celtics side, they have Jason Tatum listed as questionable and Al Horford listed as questionable. Kristaps Porzingis is doubtful to play because he is sick with whatever he got going on. Definitely really weird on what's going on over there. Side note, Tyrese Maxey just got ruled out for his back and his finger, so we don't got to worry about the Tyrese Maxey saga over there. Still focus on the young guys when it comes down to it. But over here for Boston, I would say this game is it's gonna be, someone's gonna sit. I don't see Tatum playing in this game. I don't see Al Horford having to play in this game because it is the Utah Jazz. They don't have to play them. Andre Drummond just popped on the injury report as well, so he is now listed with an illness. More than likely, he's going to be out. We probably will be getting Bona at the starting spot. But looking at it, we've seen this before where Porzingis missed, Tatum was out, Al Horford was out, Jaylen Brown played. I imagine Jaylen Brown might play here. If Jaylen Brown plays, this is a better matchup, and if Jaylen Brown doesn't go out there and have a crazy of a game, I would just be just lost, and just like I would never be able to play this dude again. But JB at 8,300, no Tatum, no Al Horford, no Porzingis, I would definitely run to go ahead and play that. Same thing for Derek White. Not going to mess with Drew Holiday, even though his price is sitting here at the 4,800 price tag. He went out there, played 35 minutes versus the Lakers, 14.25 fantasy points, but he's dealing with something on his shooting hand. So I don't want to mess with that. Instead, this is going to be the spot where we go look at Peyton motherfucking Pritchard. 5,700, we know he's going to come in there. He's going to play a ton of minutes like he does all the time. He's going to go out there and probably light it up, especially when everyone misses. This is the spot where we want to look towards Peyton Pritchard. I would definitely go there. Would be one of the key bench pieces that I don't mind paying up for and playing today in that option. In the event that he goes out there and decides he wants to just go scorch earth and drop 40 plus actual points again. Outside of that, now granted, that would be if Tatum and Al Horford were to miss. That's where the really big boost to me would come in and trying to get over there to Peyton Pritchard. Outside of that, I would imagine that if Al was to miss and Porzingis, Luke Cornett or Quetta or someone like that would get the start. Definitely some other ones that you can keep in consideration, because centers going up against Utah, they typically can go out there and have a good day. Speaking of people that can go out there and have a good day, all my Fakers fans, how are y'all coping with that loss that you took to the Boston Celtics? How are y'all coping with that? Because I've been seeing some cope already for that. And some of the cope that I'm seeing is the fact of that, oh, this was their game 7. Oh, this is their championship right here. They rested their guys. They did this, that, and the third, so they could be able to go ahead and play us because they knew what was up. They knew what it was. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. I just want to ask you one question. What did it cost you for you guys to be that good for the little 2.5 week span? What did it cost you? I'm gonna let this little subscription thing go, and we're gonna come right back to it. It cost you LeBron James fucking up his groin. That's what it cost you. Old man James don't need to be out there playing all the minutes, out there trying to act like he's young again and all that stuff. That's exactly what it cost you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I told it. I said it. I don't believe in the Lakers until I see them play a real team. They played a real team. And of course, Boston from the tip all the way up until that, well, a little bit in the fourth quarter, they kind of was giving it back. But from the tip, they was putting belt to ass and they was letting y'all know what was up. Now, if we got Luka Doncic playing tonight, I heard something about his back. He's having some back issues or something like that. If Luka plays tonight, this is pretty much going to be Luka's team. You don't have LeBron James. You don't got Rui Hachimura. Jackson Hayes already has been ruled out. Dorian Finney-Smith is already out as well. This is going to be Luka Doncic back on the Dallas Mavericks type shit. Because his 1B is Austin Reeves. Reeves is going to go out there and have to do what he has to do. It's a decent matchup going up against the Brooklyn Shitters. So that's the plus that they have right here. If Luka's going to be out, then of course it's Austin Reeves all day, every day. Austin, Dalton Connect, those are going to be the main two guys, and Gabe Vincent are going to be the main ones that'll be contributing, playmaking, and all that stuff over here for them. Now, some secondary pieces that we are going to have to look to, and that's simply because a lot of players that are out, and I'm very sure he's going to start again. He's going to have to play, and I can't believe I'm even considering it, but we're going to have to look at Jared Vanderbilt. He played 29 minutes in a game versus Boston, 4 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 8 rebounds. Pretty decent rebounder out there for him. He's a lanky player. He's going to be out there. He was getting those rebounds when he was playing off the bench. So if the scoring can somewhat come around, the defense is there. I can see a world at that 4,500 price tag. I think I still rather play the Philly value or pay up for Peyton Pritchard, something. But Vanderbilt would be someone that you got to keep inside your consideration. No DFS and all that other stuff. We're going to have to look there. Dalton Connect, 4,400. I imagine he's going to have to see some more minutes, especially if Luka's going to be out as well. He's a scoring punch for them. Definitely Dalton at 4,400. You're going to have to look there for possible play. And like I said, keep an eye out there. Gabe Vincent, 4,500. The dude still got a little bit something inside the tank. He can be that surprising, come in there, play 30, 35 minutes and deliver, especially when you got a player like Luka who's diming him up for him to be able to knock down threes. He can play make as well and plays some pretty decent defense. Definitely do not overshy and look over that Gabe Vincent play right there. Jordan Goodwin, I really have not considered him too much, but would be someone that maybe keep inside your back pocket. I would still put Gabe Vincent over Goodwin, but definitely look towards some of these key axillary pieces over here for Boston. I do think that Philly definitely has the better pieces that we want to look to, but definitely something for you to be able to get a little different if you need to. Over here on the shitter side of things, D'Lo, 5,400, finally played 29 minutes. I'm wondering if this is a good thing of what is to come, because if D'Lo is going to be able to go out here and play 20, close to 30 minutes, I would definitely take him at that 5,400 price tag. Decent spot going up against his former team, so on and so forth. I can mess with that. I could definitely go ahead and play D'Angelo Russell here at that 5,400 price tag. I don't mind that at all. But I do say that it does come with some risk, and that risk is that he might still go out here and only play 24, 25 minutes. That's the only thing that I got to worry about right there. Outside of D'Angelo Russell, as always for me, it's going to be Cam Thomas and Zaire Williams will be the main two that I typically look towards, especially for the fact of, I want to say, isn't Thomas out? No, he's not out. Well, still, oh wait, Thomas, yeah, I went right past it. But yeah, Cam Thomas is out. So I don't mind Zaire. I don't mind looking at Keon. Those are the main two that I would look to outside of looking at D'Angelo Russell. Cam Johnson at 5,900, he's there. He really just has to be able to knock down the shots, but I imagine that he would draw that Vandal defense, and that kind of deters me a little bit from even looking at him on today. Washington Wizards taking on Toronto. This is a game that we literally just saw on a back-to-back pretty much. Well, they're on a back-to-back pretty much. They were off yesterday. They played Saturday. Was the last time. Pretty sure it was Saturday. It was either Saturday or Friday, but we just saw these two teams play going up against each other. For the Washington Wizards, Chris Middleton, he's going to be out. Brogdon is out. Rashawn Holmes is out. And Marcus Smart is out. So this is legit the young guys in Jordan Poole that we will be seeing today. And all the young guys are going to be in play because Toronto Raptors looking kind of like they're not really trying to play their main guys too many minutes. Like they're playing them, but they're not playing them deep into the game. If the game is close, closing out, things like that. So this is a world where I can see us playing, of course, the Jordan Pooles, the Koulibaly, the Alex Sarr, who had an amazing game last time. Sitting at 5,600, good value center spot. 28 minutes, dropped 34 fantasy points versus Toronto. I can go right back there. Not going to be dealing with Jacopoto here today. Going to be dealing with Orlando Robinson. So the upside could be there for Sar again in a back-to-back spot. Now, out of all these guys, Jordan Poole, he went out there and he popped. First game back for him after missing the last couple of games. Played 31 minutes, went out there and dropped 54.5 fantasy points. Definitely, you can go back to the well right there. But I will say, Iman quickly did not play in that last game that they played going up against Toronto. And let me make sure I'm not tripping with that. But I'm very sure quickly did not play. Yeah, quickly did not play in that game. So that's going to be a much better defender that should be on Jordan Poole this time in this game. So the matchup could be, well, not even could. It will be a bit different for him here in the spot. So tread with caution if you are going to be chasing that right there. I would say Koulibaly. I like the upside for him. I do like the upside for Sar. Bub Carrington, he should get the start here since they should shift everybody down or something like that with Chris Middleton missing today. And then Keontae George didn't have the best game, but 31 minutes, the minutes are still very much a good sign because minutes equal production. And I don't mind going back to it, just really shot poorly and didn't have the double-digit shot attempts that he normally would have. So wouldn't mind going back to Keyshawn George here as well as possible play. On the flip side of thing, looking over here at Toronto, like I said, the minutes have been for these guys. I understand Scotty Barnes, he played in that first game for them, 32 minutes in that game, but just the minute over the last couple of games, 29 minutes, 30 minutes, 32, 27. And these games have been pretty close in regards to stuff. Not like he's in necessary foul trouble. Yeah, foul trouble right here. But I really feel like Scotty could play a lot more minutes and give us a lot more upside. At 8,500, he's in play, but not someone that I want to like, yes, I got to play Scotty Barnes. This is a great spot. This, that, and the third. Not necessarily that for me. Now, I would say with Jacopoto being out, Malgbo's out, Waters is out, Ochai Agbaji out, Grady Dick is out, and BI is out. We're going to see probably the starting lineup of Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Iman Quickly, Shaheed, or where's the other guard? Lawson. Shaheed or Lawson will get the start at the 2 for Grady Dick being out. And then we're going to see Orlando Robinson play at the center spot with Jacopoto being out. Orlando Robinson, 3,700. We saw him get the start last time going up against Utah. Played 25 minutes in that game. Took 10 shots, 24.25 fantasy points. You can definitely go right back there if you want to. I do not mind that. Of course, he's going to be the chalk value center play on today at 3,700. Going up against the Washington Wizards, a team that we have attacked continuously with opposing centers. That's literally just what it is right there. So you will get that right there. But I will say the main guys, even though they've been shitty in regards to the minutes, still they have been somewhat been able to produce. And I don't mind looking at Iman Quickly, will probably be my favorite one out of all three. I think he could pay off this 6,500 price tag over everybody else. I understand this 56.25 was with RJ Barrett missing, but still the matchup is there for him. I like it. The upside should definitely be here for him to be able to give us a good day, at least a good game, assist wise. And as long as he just keeps up the scoring, we could definitely go there. Then I would have to look towards, of course, RJ Barrett. As you guys can see, the price, not bad. 7,400, and I want to say that was his first game back after he missed a couple of games with injury. 28 minutes and dropped 42.25 fantasy points. I don't expect that exact same output, especially with Quickly being back, but still, if this becomes like a track meet, back and forth type game, both teams not really playing too much defense, I can see him being able to pay off his price tag as well. And then Scotty, he's there, but more of a GPP option, not something that I want to focus on or get up there and get to. Charlotte Hornets taking on Miami. Miles Bridges might be the best player on Miami, like real talk. 8,500 is definitely warranted for what he's been doing over his last several games. 55, 41, 64, 54 fantasy points versus the Brooklyn Shitters. 9 of 20 from the field. Just amazing what he's been able to go out there. Very much locked in and truly cares about playing. LaMelo Ball, he's there. Melo, I think he actually likes to play versus Miami. He's dropped 48 and 56 fantasy points in his last 2 games versus them. Last game, don't pay attention to the minutes. Don't worry about that. He fouled out. 23 minutes. It was just a typical, hey, I'm going to go get myself in foul trouble type game. But he has shown us that he has 49 and 51 fantasy point upside, and it's there. He should be dealing with Davion Mitchell defense today, so that is a little bit like, a little worried about that right there for him, because Miami did not have Davion Mitchell in either game that he played going up against them earlier this season, where he was able to literally just go scorch the earth and light them up. So that's just a little bit of a downside for him that I do think. But 9,400 makes for a pivot off of the other plays like the Trae Young, the Tyrese Halliburton if he's in, the Shea, Luka, things like that. Would be very much a low owned Ball will be low owned. No one's going to be wanting to play him today for a possible play that you can get to. Miles Bridges would be, of course, the other one that we can focus on and go to. I don't hate going over there to that. And then Mark Williams, I would have had some interest in him, but the upside it's not there at 7,400. I don't really feel like the price is there. And then all three centers are pretty much healthy, or at least going to play. Nurk, I know he's listed as questionable, but he's expected to be able to play today. So I really don't have any interest in anyone else over here for them. But Miles Bridges probably be the best, safer play between him and LaMelo. LaMelo would be the GPP upside that you want to get to over there for them. On the Miami side of things, Bam is, to me, too much. 9,300 with everybody back, too much. I'm not paying that for Bam. I'm not. 9,300, you have to go out there and give me at least 50. For me, I need at least 45 to 50 from you. And I understand that he was delivering that. That was when everybody was missing. I need his price to come back down into that 8K range, that 8.3, 8.5 range before I feel comfortable going back to Bam. I can't do that right here. Now I will say Tyler Hero in what is a really great match for him going up against the Charlotte Hornets. 8.8, I'll pay that for Tyler Hero. He could definitely pay that off, and I don't mind that at all. Same thing for if Andrew Wiggins is going to be in and he's not going to be limited. Granted, played 28 minutes, but took 17 shots. I like that from him. Because stuff the stat sheet in other areas, didn't really have to do too much versus Chicago Bulls. They lost that game, but still don't mind it, especially seeing that he played 28 minutes in his first game back after missing several games. I do like the upside for him at that 6.6 price tag. And then Khalil Ware, same thing for him. Dude missed a couple of games with his knee. 26 minutes going out there versus the Bulls and dropped 29 fantasy points. Not bad. Definitely, this is a good spot for him because we can attack the Charlotte Hornets with opposing centers. So I would take a look. Not necessarily going to flag plant just because I do think the minutes might be limited, but definitely something to kind of consider and possibly go to right there. But if you don't mess with any of those guys right there, Davion Mitchell is still starting, and Davion Mitchell still goes out there and he plays minutes. He typically is going to be the main defender on the best guy over there, but he can play make pretty well. He can go out there and dish those assists, give us a little bit in the peripheral departments in regards to what he can get for his blocks and steals and the rebounds. But also, if he can find a shot, if he's taking enough shots, he's still safe to me to get us at least about 24, 25-ish fantasy points, especially with just the defensive upside in this matchup. It's not bad for him. And versus the Charlotte Hornets earlier this season, he dropped 30 fantasy points versus them. So I don't mind that at 4,600. Really think they should stop giving Terry Rozier minutes because he is just ass, worse than ass. He's just trash. So definitely Davion Mitchell will be one that I would look to over here for them. Keep an eye out on the Duncan Robinson, Alec Burks, and Jaime and the Highsmith news, because if those are guys going to be out, then I would imagine that Jaime Jaquez would get a couple more minutes out there for them. Kyle Anderson would have to get some minutes as well, and then maybe something for Larson. So keep your eye out there for that if you guys are considering any of the bench plays over there for Miami. Going on over to Indy taking on Chicago. This should be a good game, especially if my boy Tyrese Halliburton is back. You got to wonder now, if Halliburton does come back, it makes me wonder what his minutes would be, because he has missed a couple of games now in a row with that hip that he's dealing with. So hopefully it's not going to throw him off a rhythm, because he was playing very good ball before he went down, having to miss these last couple of games. So we'll get that news, of course, close to the lock. But 8,700, good matchup versus Chicago Bulls. They still can give up a lot of points, a lot of assists, all that stuff. Fast-paced team going up against right here versus the Pacers. I like the upside for Halliburton here versus the Bulls so far this season. He has not one game less than 45 fantasy points. 8,700, that's a safe floor for me right here for Hallie, and he was doing that before he left, so I don't mind that. Especially if you're gonna tell me he's gonna play full minutes, I would go there. If he's gonna be out again, and if TJ McConnell just so happens to be out as well, which he left the last game with some type of injury, then we're gonna avoid both of those guys. Then of course it's gonna be Siakam, it's gonna be Nembhard, it's gonna be Miles Turner, and then of course Bennedict Mathurin is going to have to play minutes. He came back last game and played 40 minutes versus the Hawks. And that was his first game back after he missed some significant time as well. And he dropped 30 actual points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. If McConnell misses, I do have a lot of interest in Mathurin. And I have a lot more interest if Hallie misses as well, just because he is a huge usage bump with both of those guys off the court. Outside of that, Neesmith, he's playing pretty well out there. 5K, that's kind of right around what I would be okay paying for him out there. The scoring is there. He's giving us some defensive upside. This should be a spot where he should be able to do that going up against the Bulls. In the one game that he did play versus the Bulls, he played 29 minutes. He dropped 37 fantasy points versus them. That was on the 2nd of March. So the game right there, you can see it, 29 minutes, 37.75, dropped 27 actual points. I don't mind. I'm not going to necessarily chase that, because I do think he does have a safe floor right around 20 to 25 fantasy points. at 5K. I'm okay with that if that is if everything else in my line looks pretty good. Outside of that, really, it's the main guys I want to focus on. We're not going to focus too much on the bench unless Hallie and TJ McConnell were to miss. Overview for the Bulls, I'm going to be very honest. Vooch being back really just messes up my love that I have for the Bulls. It really does mess it up quite a bit, because I liked Zach Collins in the spot today just because Zach is such a good fantasy point per minute player, and 6,100 versus Miles Turner over there, I didn't mind that at all. I really wanted to actually go out there and play that. 29 minutes versus them the last time, 24.75 fantasy points. He could have gave me a bit more, but the upside, gosh, with Vooch being there, you just can't play Zach Collins at all. Buzelis, we can still go there. I played opposing power forwards versus the Pacers. Versus them last time, he dropped 34 fantasy points, and he's been on a roll. Him and Giddey, they've been like a nice little 1-2 punch out there, playing very well off each other. And Giddey just looks confident. He looks good out there playing. 8,500, they have him playing at the small forward spot right now, which is good because he does have the size, but he can still play make, which he does. As we can see, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, 26 points. I think the rebounds are going to be a little capped here with Vooch coming back, unless Vooch does what Steven Adams used to do for the Thunder and just boxes out, so Giddey can still go out there and get the rebounds. That'd be great. At 8,500, I'm still willing to take a chance on Giddey, just not going to be as high on him as I was when Vooch was out. Now, if they continue to start Trey Jones at that 4,800 price tag, I will continue to play Trey Jones. Besides that first game that he played versus Indy, where he played 27 minutes and gave us 19.5 fantasy points, 31, 34, and 35 fantasy points, looking better and better with each game that he's playing out there for them. And he's doing it, of course, in more than one way than just scoring. He's playmaking, he's playing some defense, and he's also getting some of those boards and stuff like that. 4,800, that's a value play that we can go to. To me, kind of feels safe, especially with Lonzo Ball possibly still being out. Long as Lonzo is still out for them, which, yeah, Lonzo is doubtful to play, Trey Jones should still be in the starting lineup for them. Kobe White, you can mess with that 7,200 price tag. He's hit or miss. Last game versus Miami, 28.25 fantasy points. I'm pretty sure he was the one that drew the Davion Mitchell defense. So here versus Indy, he dropped 38.75. We can go back to that at 7,200 price tag. I will say Giddey is safer, and Trey Jones, he's pretty safe as well, especially for the price of what they got him up there listed as. Phoenix on their back end of a back-to-back playing against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are also on the back end of a back-to-back. Phoenix played going up against Dallas yesterday, which was actually a pretty good game if you guys actually checked it out and watched it. Over here for me, it's going to be mainly the main two for me, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, 94 and 9,100. I personally have not been able to get it right. Whenever I say, oh, I'm playing Kevin Durant today, it's Devin Booker that will go out there and have the much better game. And granted, it will typically be by just a couple of fantasy points, but still, every fantasy point matters. And then Devin Booker. So either one of these guys, they're in contention to play for me. D-Book and KD, I want to say they both played roughly about 38 minutes yesterday, so not so many minutes, but this is going to be a fast-paced game for them going up against, going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. Between the two, KD has been the more consistent player between him and Book. In all three matches versus the Grizzlies this season, KD has at least over 48 fantasy points with 255 and 57, or with 250 plus fantasy point games versus them. So again, I do like Kevin Durant, and D-Book has been more into the mid 30 range with a 36, 32, and a 46 fantasy point outing versus them. So if you guys could tell, I do like Kevin Durant more, but like I just said, I wouldn't be surprised if it was going to be Devin Booker that decides he wants to pop off and have a pretty big day going up against them. Now, outside of that, Bradley Beal, he popped the last time they played them. He dropped 55 fantasy points going up against Memphis. That 55.25 fantasy point game, 11 assists, 24 points. You can mess with that right there if you want to. That would be the cheaper of the three duo right there. But Beal would be the one to me that would be more lean towards, hey, let's rest him here today or something of the sort. 6,400, definitely a option and a play spot that you can go to. I don't hate that at all. And then outside of that, not focused on anyone else over here. Unless somebody gets ruled out, I see no need to try to play Jared Allen, Royce O'Neal, Nick Richards, Bol, none of them. There's no reason to even think about going there to that. On the Memphis Grizzlies side of things, they're still without JJJ. We have seen Ja be rested on back-to-backs and things like that. I know he's dealing with the shoulder alignment or something like that. If that was the case here today and Ja was to get ruled out, JJJ is already out. As long as Luke Kennard is back, he should probably get the start, or between him and Scottie Pippen Jr. But Desmond Bane, 7,900. That would Bane's going to be the chalk if Ja is to get ruled out. Now, I say if just because it hasn't come out yet. I typically would have expected for us to have that news already by now, but it's not, and it's going on 2 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time. So definitely just pay attention to that. Keep your ear to the ground to watch for that. But Bane, still a phenomenal play. I like him here at a 7,900 price tag. Last time versus them, he dropped 47 fantasy points. In all 3 games, he's at least dropped 37 fantasy points versus them. So decent spot. Love the upside for Bane, and he's been playing lights out, especially without Jaren Jackson Jr. Outside of Bane, you can, of course, go to Ja here as well. Again, like I said, I do worry about the minutes, but Ja's been playing pretty consistent over his last 3 games. Well, if you want to go back, last 4 games, but there was a break in between here where he missed 2 games before going up against the Thunder. But 49 and 53 fantasy points looks pretty good for the minutes and the upside. And Phoenix doesn't typically play defense, so you definitely can mess with going to a Ja Morant. If you think the ownership will be low, everyone's going to be flocking to Bane, go ahead. Ja is prime for the taking. I wouldn't mind getting there because who's going to stick Ja in that starting lineup? Seriously, who? Outside of that, if Santi Aldama is going to be back, we definitely would be looking in that direction. That would be someone that we could play. Should slide in play at the 4 spot. I can go there. Don't mind it at all. As long as he's going to actually get his normal minutes, that'll be an upside play. And then you can take the value play in Vince Williams Jr. He should still go out there and start, but that will probably be depending on Aldama if he's in or out. Not playing Zach Edey because, yeah, they just continue to F with his minutes, and it's stupid, honestly, what they do over there for that. Like that, his minutes rotation is just god awful, just completely dog fucking shit awful, and it's annoying. Orlando taking on Houston. I really don't have too much interest in this game. Of course, the studs, Paulo, France would more than likely be low owned. If Fred VanVleet is back and playing today, even if Fred is out, and it pains me to even say, look at Cole owes me money, Anthony. Look at Cole Anthony. 49, 33 fantasy points in his last 2 games. We hop on the Cole Anthony train and go ahead and play him, and I feel like he's just going to bust on us. But 5,100, I got to consider him. Granted, there is some other value on the slate that we can go to, but just keep me in back pocket. Outside of that, maybe KCP if you got to come down there at that 3,900 price tag, but I don't like anything outside of the main players over here for Orlando. For the Houston Rockets, who would have thought that Dillon Brooks was going to go out there and just go scorch the earth and have a good game? If Fred VanVleet is going to be ruled out in this game, then Jalen Green is going to get a boost and a bump here for me. I like the upside for him. Really haven't had a big Jalen Green game in a little bit, so I can see definitely the upside for Jalen Green if Freddie V is going to be out, because they're already going to be without Amin Thompson. Amin rolled his ankle in that last game, so he's going to be out for quite some time. Outside of that, Şengün 9,500. I typically don't normally play centers going up against Orlando, but you can mess with that if you want to, especially because Noah Min, his rebound upside should be there. Depending on who they start at the 4, if Jabari Smith Jr. starts, you can take a GPP chance on him. I really hate playing Jabari, but he has been pretty consistent in the limited minutes that he's been getting off the bench for them. And Tari has very much boom or bust. Last game, 24 minutes, went out there and gave us 15.5 fantasy points after dropping back-to-back 40s. You could definitely go there if you want to, but his defense will be needed going up against Paulo. I imagine that's going to be his main thing. If Fred is going to be out and you already got a man out, then I will take a look at Cam Whitmore, just because I know that minutes equal his production, and if he can go out there and play about 25 minutes, I know Cam will go out there and just chuck it up and give us some type of return. Orlando taking on my Thunder. We just went ahead and we put belt to ass versus them yesterday, so they want a rematch today, and I see the Denver Nuggets winning this game. No matter if the Joker, if he's good or not with his elbow, I kind of just feel like it's going to be like, oh, whatever, we beat you guys yesterday, where we're not too worried about it today, kind of thing. So I'm just a little bit iffy. I really don't like playing the teams whenever they play on a back-to-back type thing. I really don't. But that's my bias side, and I always have to put that to the side whenever I'm building my lineups and stuff like that, because something that I think could be a blowout or anything like that, it screws it up, and lo and behold, that was the game that you should be focused on and you should be getting plays from and playing. So looking over here on Denver, the Joker banged his elbow yesterday. Didn't after that elbow got banged when he fell, did not look too good out there at all. Now, I understand he dropped 100 fantasy points going up against the Phoenix Suns, and 63 fantasy points yesterday going up against us, almost triple-double. Will be a big part of them being able to pull off this game. 12,900. Expensive as hell. And honestly, I don't see myself paying that much for him. Now, there are some people that whenever the Joker's on the slate, they play him every slate. This could be one of those where you just play him, you just find the value to fit around him. I would much rather try to maybe play Jamal Murray, who could be decent. Didn't have the best day, Dortcher Chamber, all that good stuff, all of our wing defenders and stuff that we could throw at him. But Christian Braun at 6,100. The dude still just finds ways to stuff the stat sheet. Aaron Gordon should miss this game. Russell Westbrook should be in the starting lineup. Braun, Michael Porter Jr., he was able to go out there and have a pretty good day, rebounded very well. Russell Westbrook didn't shoot the best, but still, the peripheral stats and everything that he did definitely paid dividends. So I don't mind looking at Russ, Braun, and Michael Porter Jr. if I have to choose over here from what I want to take from the Denver Nuggets, not necessarily mess with the two main guys, if I'm going to be very honest. Outside of that, if they start Zeke Naji, just if we're still going to start Chet and they're trying to have size out there, then maybe I would take a look at Zeke Naji, because I can see him being like the shooter that we just leave open, and Zeke can actually knock down some decent three-point shots. For the Thunder, SGA is safe. Jalen Williams is safe as well. Both of those guys I wouldn't mind playing if it came down to it, especially if Chet was to be out, because we're going to have to lean on them. SGA delivered yesterday with 64 fantasy points, 40 actual, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. So 11K. I mean, he's paying it off and he's worth it. MVP showdown again today. Chet got himself in foul trouble. If he plays today, I don't mind it. Don't pay attention to 26 minutes. He legit was just in foul trouble and should have honestly fouled out and probably only played about 18 minutes yesterday. So if he's in and he's good to go, I don't mind taking a look at him. I'm not going to mess with Hartenstein with Chet playing. Wiggins, maybe we can see a couple of players off the bench like Caruso, Wiggins, getting a couple more minutes here in the spot. I'm not necessarily chasing too much off a bench. It would be the main two guys for me, and SGA and Jalen Williams would be where I want to look over there for them. Dallas Mavericks taking on San Antonio Spurs. For them, we do have to get some injury news. PJ Washington is listed as questionable, possible for him to be back and playing today. Brandon Williams was their starting point guard. He got injured and he's not going to be playing today. He's also on a 2-way contract and his days are going to be running out, so he cannot play. He's going to be out in this game, and it kind of sucks because in 24 minutes homie dropped 33.25 fantasy points versus them yesterday. Like, the kid is good. He's good. He's actually pretty decent. I imagine that we might see Dante Exum start at the point, or they might decide Spencer Dinwiddie, let's go ahead and let's start you at the point. But Dinwiddie is legit Dinwiddie for a reason, and I don't call him that just to be rude. Like, the motherfucker sucks. Depending on who starts at the point, I could see possibly looking towards that as a possible value play. Najee Marshall will be someone I would continue to look towards and play because he's going to just play the minutes. Like, he's almost the team. Like, 34 points yesterday was just crazy. I was having fun watching him play and ball out because he plays so much tenacity out there. If PJ Washington is back and not limited, I definitely see myself looking at PJ Washington at 7,200. I don't mind that. Like, somebody's gonna have to play the minutes out there and have to be the scorer and stuff like that for them. Clay, you could look towards that, but not really interested too much in Clay. Max Christie has just been Max. He's been Max. He ain't even Christie right now. If PJ Washington gets ruled out, then Kessler Edwards is going to start at the center spot and have to play as much minutes as he can. He might be able to stretch the floor and get Biyombo out of the paint and things like that. So lean that maybe if you want to mess with that. On the San Antonio Spurs side, it's pick your poison. Castle has been playing amazing over his last couple games. 28 minutes, 36 fantasy points, 32, 34, 46, 40. I would look towards Castle again here, 6,200. I like the upside for everything that he's doing. De'Aaron Fox, I can get back over here to him. Hasn't really been just like popping De'Aaron Fox lately, but 8,900. 9K, that's a really big GPP pivot off of some of the other 9K guards that we have on today's slate. So I could mess with that if you wanted to. Vassell, he's always due to be able to have big games, and this would be a spot where Dallas is running out some tired legs out there. I can see some upside for some of these guys like that. Then, of course, Kelvin Johnson and Sochan off the bench. Both of these guys are in contention and play that we can look to. Bismack and Biyombo will have the size advantage. If they give him the minutes to let him play, that's another story. So consider Bismack, but do not put all your eggs in the basket. There are some other safer center plays on today's slate that you can actually play and focus on instead. But yeah, that's going to be the breakdown, guys. 10-game slate, a lot of news to cover. Again, breakdown and all that will be coming out later on. If you guys are looking for that, make sure you guys check the membership tab and also check the Patreon for either one of those, wherever you want to sign up to be able to see and get my stuff. Good luck to everybody. Let's go ahead. Let's start the week out with a W. Peace.